like it felt just awesome. I mean, we had people like Stephen A. Smith, First Take over here in Toronto. Like that whole experience just felt.
Let me tell you something.
He's not a fan of Stephen A. Smith, just so you know.
Hello and welcome to the Friday, March 5th edition of the TVonBasketball podcast with your host TV, and we are here with some other guests on the podcast. There's a lot of basketball going on right now. We're halfway through the season, NBA Allstar Weekend. You know I had to bring in some guests. We have 2/3 of the TheBBallLab podcast here today. We have Mark, we have Marco. How's it going on, guys?
It's going, man. How are you?
Doing good, man. Thanks for coming on the pod.
No problem.
We're excited to be here. You know, we both of us have been talking about it all day. We're going to bring. I think Marco said what? Heat Game 7.
We're going to bring the heat.
There you go. That's it.
We're going to bring the heat.
Exactly.
Right? Jimmy Butler's not going to show up, but we're bringing the heat.
Okay. But yeah, these guys are coming on. These guys are from Toronto. We finally have some Toronto guys on the podcast. So we're going to have a good show here today. We're going to talk some Raptors, talk some All-Star Weekend, talk our Midseason Awards. And yeah, we're just going to do it to have some fun conversation. I'm going to have all their links down below in the description of this video and in my link tree so you could go check out their Instagram, their YouTube. And I believe you guys have a TikTok as well, right?
We do, yes.
Yeah, so I'm going to have all their links down in the description so you could definitely go check them out. But yeah, and also follow TVonBasketball on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for updates on the podcast and for other content. Like, share, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Show love on all the podcast networks. That would be very much appreciated. Well, let's get into this, man. We have a lot to talk about in the show, but let's start with you guys here. Thanks again for coming on. But let's start at the very beginning. Where did your love for basketball start?
Take it away, Mark.
It's funny because, I mean, obviously I'm a sports guy myself. Like I love sports in general, but my love for basketball, my dad used to play, obviously not professionally, but and he loves sports. So that's where my love for basketball came from. But I'm a huge Steve Nash fan. I was a huge Steve Nash fan. So like when the Suns, the 7 seconds or less Suns were going up against Kobe Bryant and those Lakers with Ron Artest and those kind of guys. So I was up till 1 o'clock at night, like watching those. And I was in high school at the time, watching those days. So that's where my love for basketball really came from, was watching those teams. And it's just grown ever since. And I've just started to love the game in general in terms of watching all the teams and not just one team specifically or two teams specifically.
Yeah. Marco, where did your basketball love start?
Well, mine started as, I wasn't born here. So when I migrated here, and even before that, I started following the Chicago Bulls, right? So I think I'm showing my age now, but I grew up a massive Michael Jordan fan. So I started my love of basketball started from there, watching the Chicago Bulls, even pre-dynasty, when they were struggling through the Celtics and the Pistons and those teams back then. And that's how we grew. I am a sports junkie, so I do love my basketball. I can watch this, basketball every night of the week, no doubt about it. Replay, live, whatever it is. Mark will tell you the same. And, but I love all sports just like he does. But that's how my love for basketball started. And I've been hooked on with the game ever since. I sort of fell off the Bulls, I don't know if we want to call it bandwagon, after the team started, not appreciating what they had after Michael left. And, after Jimmy Butler actually left Chicago, I actually went on strike. True story. We used to go to, every time the Bulls came to Toronto, I used to make a point to go to the games at the Air Canada Center. And then after they dismantled that team, I said, forget it. But I was also in the middle of being, like the Raptors were still a young franchise, even 95 onward. And then, so I sort of adopted them as well. So I'm not that guy that has two teams, right? So I'm a huge Raptors fan now, and I have been for a long time. Try to go to a lot of the games, 2, 3, 4 times a year, pre-pandemic, of course. But that's basically where it all started, from Chicago to the 6, and now we're here.
Love to see it. Love to see it. And man, I do miss those like in-person events, man. I know like right now in the pandemic, it's been a while since any of us could go to like any of those Raptor games, but we miss it. We definitely miss it over here.
Yeah, I don't think we appreciated it as much, right? Before we took it for granted, right? Like
Yeah.
ticket prices are this, that. Let's see what we can get, and then you show up. You have a good time, right? You have
Yeah.
your cold beverages and whatnot. You hang out, you chill. But now, like, yes, you're watching from home. You watched the bubble last year, and now every team is dispersed, excluding the Raptors from Tampa. But I miss the noise. I miss the action, being there as well. Not even
Yeah.
being there as well, just watching it on TV, missing that interaction from the fans. So yeah.
Yeah. When was the last time you guys saw a game? I know you said you go watch like 3 or 4 times a year. When was the last time you saw the game like before the pandemic started?
For me, and then I'll let Mark jump in here. It was literally the year before the pandemic. So
Yeah.
actually, it would have been the year of the championship run.
Okay.
So it was when Kawhi was here.
Yeah.
And I didn't go. I was set to go to 2 games after the February road trip that they took.
Yeah.
Before
Yeah,
Rudy
yeah.
Gobert and all that stuff. I was supposed to go to 2 games after that. Actually, believe it or not, I was actually supposed to go to the game for Vince Carter, the last game that he was supposed to be
Oh,
here.
yeah.
But pandemic hit, and that was it. So it's been since 2019, I guess.
Yeah.
You
Mark.
made, you made a little rhyme out of that one, eh?
What?
Pandemic hit, and that was it. Look at that.
You know what? I'm dropping bars. This is what I do.
Yeah,
We're guests here. I'm trying to just do something here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Love it.
I think the last game that I went to was, I believe it was the same thing, the Kawhi Leonard season. It was the home opener.
Home
Oh,
opener.
That was
ooh.
I believe that was the last game I went to.
That was against the Celtics, right? I think it was against the Celtics.
I can't remember
Celtics?
100%,
Yeah,
but
I think so.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, it's definitely been a while, man, since we've been there. As for myself, I think the last time I went to a Raptor game was actually Game 5 of the second round against Philly. So yeah, that was a crazy game,
Oh,
man.
I see. Okay, you let us go
Hey.
first. Talk about a regular season visit, and then you drop in like,
Hey.
Game 5 of
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
Hey,
But,
hey, funny thing about that story, it was I remember like at a restaurant watching Game 4 with my family or whatever, and I told my sister because like it was supposed to be her graduation gift. I was supposed to like take her to a Raptor game, and I told him if we win this game, because I think we were down by like 5 points with like 2 minutes left. If we somehow win this game, I'm getting you tickets to go to Game 5. And for some reason, like, and somehow Kawhi Leonard hit like a 3 over Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid at the top of the key, and won us the game. So I was like, okay, I have to stick to my promise. We ended up going to the game, and I think we actually beat the 76ers that game by 20.
man of your words. What can I say?
yeah, and
Exactly.
it's funny though because like the final game, I'm trying in the championships in the when they won the championship, I was in Jamaica myself.
Yeah.
Like that's where we were.
Nice.
So
I see what you did there.
no.
Oh
Like,
wow,
I
this
was in
guy's flex.
Jamaica.
no, hey, that's where I was. But to be
Yeah.
honest with you, I would have preferred to been here because I was away from all the the partying, the
Yeah.
parades, all that stuff. You know what I mean? Because we didn't get back until I think it was 2 days after they had won already, right? So it was like
Yeah.
I was stuck on not like where we were going toe to toe. There was a lot of Golden State fans there and stuff, but I would have rather been here.
All frauds, by the way. All frauds.
Oh yeah.
Literally.
Oh yeah. 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 Exactly.
Ask him who Baron Davis is, and then
Yeah. Ask him about Monty Ellis, and then
Yeah,
and then we
exactly.
got over there. We'll get over
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
whatever.
But yeah, we talked about that. And now you guys started this pod. I know me and Mark were talking before we started this recording that you guys started in June. I mean, what led you to start the pod? I know like everyone has been picking up different hobbies during the pandemic, but what was your story in terms of you like setting up your pod?
Yeah, so like I said prior to it, the three of us we're sports junkies in terms of it. Mark's a big Raptor fan. The guy that's not here right now, he's a big Raptor fan. But we talk about we all three of us work together, right? So we talk about basketball all the time when we were working, and me and Mark had talked about it prior to doing it, and then we looped in Marco onto it. And we just thought, you know what? We're three guys that really love talking about basketball in work when we're not supposed to be, but so we decided, you know what? Let's make a podcast out of it, talk about it, and then people have to listen to it. anyway, so they might as well just tune in and listen to it on YouTube and Apple and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So that's why we kind of decided to jump in on it and just spit our knowledge in terms of the basketball world.
Yeah. This was going to Marco. I mean, like, how was in the beginning, and how kind of like has it transitioned to like how you guys are recording now?
I mean, the one thing that we said what we were going to do is we weren't going to try to be anybody else. We were just going to come on like three dudes to just talk ball.
Yeah.
And that's it. And just relax and just chill, right? Let's not overproduce, right? Let's not underproduce, but definitely not overproduce. We're not trying to compete with, because listen, what the world needs is more podcasts, right? Now, that's the joke out there, right? So we just want to just, talk about everyday things, not to get too deep into, it's stuff that people won't understand, but try to just be relevant, not relevant, but be relative and sort of relate to people and what they like. And that's sort of how we've evolved. And then every podcast, every episode, we felt more comfortable, right? And then it just became sort of like, okay, put the mic on, hit record, and then just let her fly, just start shooting threes like Steph Curry, right? And that's it. And then, so here we are.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. Especially in the beginning, you kind of don't know kind of like how to get into a flow of things and stuff like that. But then once you get in, 100%. And then once you get into it, you start getting the chemistry. You start bringing that that thing together, and then like you just start, just getting more comfortable at it. And I mean, you guys are doing some good work over there. And like I said, all their links can be found in the description of my thing to go check them out. They definitely have some awesome NBA content, just basketball content in general, just to talk about over there. But yeah, let's move into more of the Raptors talk. We talked about the championship season. We know where Mark was during the during like when we won the championship. Marco, where were you when the Raptors finally won their first championship?
I was at home. My wife was expecting our first child. So it's not like we can go out and get wasted, right? Can I say that here? Like wasted, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Cuss, you can cuss, do whatever you can, man.
I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But no, I was at home in my living room watching, and it was a lot of fun, man. I can, it's still, to me, it's fresh in my head, right? Yeah. And when Kawhi put his hands up in the air and Matt Devlin announced the Toronto, Canada, the championship is yours. The Raptors have won. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not gonna front, and I don't care. I cried.
Oh, no, same
here, man. I don't cry for sports. There's only 2 times that I've cried. This is officially the second time.
Yeah.
When Jordan hit the last shot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
In Utah. The Utah one, yeah.
Utah one, and then the championship game against the Raptors. Because if you grew up a Raptors fan, or even just adopted the Raptors as your team, wherever it was, there was a lot of ups and downs, man. There was a lot of good times. You can go from Vince Carter's dunk contest to heartbreakers like the Brooklyn game, with the remembering, Kyle Lowry on the floor when he missed, right? Or no, he got blocked by your boy, Paul Pierce, right? So there's been a lot of ups and downs. There's been some terrible teams in between as well, right? I lived through Vincenzo Esposito, like Zon Tabak. Like, come on, man. So, but yeah, anyway, sorry, I digress. But yeah, I was in my living room at home watching it, and it was great. We pretty much watched most of the run at home. The most memorable one was the shot. I don't need to explain what that was, right? I thought my wife was going to have the baby right there, so I had to calm myself, right? So she was 8 months pregnant, right? So it was fun watching it at home. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, Mark, how was it for you? Like how were you feeling when the Raptors finally did it?
And that's the thing, they've gone, and like Marco said, just to echo what he said, it's been a long road, since 95. They've had a lot of ups and a lot of downs, a lot more downs than ups. But, this run with Kyle Lowry being here and DeMar DeRozan and Chris Bosh, and they weren't able to get over those hurdles because of some guy named LeBron James. But, but you know what I mean? But just seeing them reach the pinnacle and be able to, I know I was the Bucks series just prior to that when they beat the Milwaukee Bucks to get into the Eastern Conference Finals. Myself, I was getting teared up because being from Toronto, we don't have there's not a lot of teams that make it that far, right? We have the soccer teams, and the Jays made the playoffs a couple of years ago, right? But it's been a lot of stagnicity. There's been just playoff appearances, and that's it. It's right, but to finally get to that pinnacle and win it, it was the icing on the cake in terms of just being able to witness that in my lifetime. You know, I would have never expected to maybe not witness that in my lifetime, because there's a lot of teams, a lot of sports fans that go through their lives without witnessing their team win a championship with any sport. You know what I mean? But and then seeing all those people, like I said, I wasn't here, but seeing all those people pour into the streets of Toronto and Mississauga and everywhere, just pour into those streets was absolutely like it gave you
beautiful.
Goosebumps.
It was beautiful. It was
absolutely. It gave you goosebumps.
Yeah.
And think about it, right? Like, think about that. That's the last parade, NBA parade, that we have seen since.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that we'll see one, you know, soon, eventually.
Yeah.
But but we don't know what it's going to look like, considering, you know, how the world has changed in the last, you know, 12 months or so. So to your point, to see those people gather, you know, what's the Cactus, right? The Cactus guy,
the Cactus,
right? Which, by the way, I ran into him in Milton. I kid not. I was going shopping somewhere in Milton, and I saw him. So I honked my horn. I'm like, Cactus dude, and he turned, and it was him. And I'm like, what up? So it was like, apparently he lived in Milton, but he's from BC, right? So that was, I remember that. So
yeah, I mean, that was definitely a crazy year, man. I mean, that was some good times. Like I said earlier, I was at like Game 5, not Game 7, unfortunately. If it was Game 7, I don't know what I would be doing. Like, I don't know, like that would have been like one of the craziest moments of my life. But just in general, that was when the city was its most alive. That was when like it felt just awesome. I mean, we had people like Stephen A. Smith, First Take over here in Toronto. Like that whole experience just felt.
Let me tell you something.
He's not a fan of Stephen A. Smith, just so you know.
I could tell that. That's why I sounded like
The only reason that little guy was up here in Toronto is because it was a summertime. Because my guy don't do cold. And to this day, he doesn't recognize Toronto as an NBA championship city in 2019.
I remember that. Yeah,
it's another country, and he said this, and I'm sorry to cut you off. He said, I'll never forget it. He's like, well, the championship belongs in the United States of America, and I to this day I'm still mad at him.
Yeah, no, I remember that interview exactly. That was uncalled for, to say the least. Yeah. But yeah, I was at the parade. It was honestly insane. Like,
parade, damn.
I mean, waiting like what was it, 5-6 hours in the heat for the Raptors to finally come to Nathan Phillips Square. Man, it was rough, but it was honestly like worth. It was worth it at the end. I know there were like, I think the number was like 1.8 or something like that million people like downtown Toronto. It was absolutely insane, that whole thing. The city felt alive as ever. And like you said, it was the last one. And I think it's like a lasting image for like a lot of NBA fans, because if you like, especially that aerial view, if you've seen that aerial view, it's like little ants. It's like literally the Toronto fans are like little ants. And it was insane. That whole thing was insane. And I would kill to like relive like that moment for the first time again. It was insane.
I can't believe you went to the parade. I know Mark went to the parade. Clark, who's not here, he was there. Yeah. I think he got as far as just outside of the CNE area where they started coming out, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I should have went to the CNE. I thought it was going to be a lot quicker, but there's just way too many people in Toronto to get through, honestly. But yeah, I completely understand that. But yeah, that season was definitely crazy. Moving on to this season, though, obviously we are 2 years away from, like, we were 2 years past that championship season now, and a lot has changed for the Raptors. We have lost Kawhi Leonard, Danny Green, and then just this past offseason we lost players like Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol. And I mean, the team is still doing well right now. I know we're recording in the middle of the game, but I think we were like one game under 500. I mean, what do you guys think? Like, what is like how do you feel about the Raptors right now, and like where do you think they should go forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think when the season started, you know, they struggled to start the season, and a lot of people, and we've talked about this on our podcast a few times, a lot of Toronto fans, you know, jumped off the bandwagon a little bit, and they were asking for Siakam's head, and even some people were calling for Nick Nurse to be fired and panicking. And at the end of the day, it's a long season. You're talking about 72 games. You're not talking about 50 games or 40 games or anything. You're talking about 72 games. And we know what this Raptor team brings, whether they have Kawhi Leonard, Ibaka, Gasol, or any of those guys, it doesn't really matter. This team has heart. This team has resilience. It doesn't matter what they're put up against. They're going to compete night in and night out. When you've got a guy like Kyle Lowry on the floor, who's probably the heart and soul of this Toronto team for the last 5-6 years or so, maybe even longer than that, and he's on the floor and he's leading your team, you're going to run through a brick wall for that guy. And that's what you've seen with the Toronto Raptors so far this season is they've turned it around. Like they're what, one game above 500 right now. They're losing to the Celtics tonight, but they're in the mix. And then they got that little week off with the All-Star break where none of those players, they get some of those players back to the COVID with the COVID results and all that stuff. They'll get those players back, and hopefully, they turn it around. They turn it on in the second half of the season and squeak into the playoffs and or not squeak into the playoffs, but maybe get home court advantage in Tampa, whatever it is. And you never know what happens in the playoffs. Anything could happen in the playoffs.
Yeah, 100%. Even especially like in this type of scenario that we're in right now, I definitely know what you mean. I mean, who knows? I mean, the Celtics, we don't know like why they're doing so bad this year. I mean, it's just affecting a lot of people, and I definitely understand. I mean, who knows? We might make another long run. But going to Marco here, looking past the season, obviously Kyle Lowry's on an expiring deal. Norman Powell is also on an expiring deal. What do you think the Raptors should do moving forward? We have a few guys under contract: Van Vliet, OG, and Siakam. What's next for the Raptors?
Going into this season, I said, and I used this word, and I forgot what it was, so I had to look it up for a second because I just wanted to make sure I wasn't talking out of my ass. But I particularly described it as a gap year. And if anybody knows what a gap year is, it's basically a year that when you're going from, certain education, it's an educational gap in university, and you take a year off to sort of find yourself before you get back in it. And I think that's what this is. It's not a tank year, and I know a lot of Raptor fans and experts wish that it was, and it shouldn't be because this organization prides themselves into being consistent. But I think this is a gap year, and you can see what that is based on the signings that they tried to do or accomplish this year. Aaron Baines and Len, and which didn't work out. Obviously, he's with the Wizards now. But what do I think? The next year is going to be interesting because they had hinged their bet on, obviously, Antetokounmpo, and I think that's no secret, but it was. So it was the worst kept secret in the NBA. And it didn't work out in the sense of Antetokounmpo chose Milwaukee for now. And, you have Lowry expiring, Norm Powell, who my guy is going to get paid now, right? And that's an interesting narrative because I think that if we have this conversation 2 months ago, maybe it's a little bit different. Right. But now it's almost the Raptors have to make a decision whether they're going to go into the bank and pay this guy, or do they let him walk, or do they, trade him. Right. Lowry, I truly do believe that he stays here the entire year, no matter what. I think that the Raptors are in a point right now, 17-18 or 18-17, whatever the case is, that I think that the Raptors let Lowry decide his fate.
Yeah.
And if Lowry wants to stay, he stays. And if Lowry wants to be traded somewhere, whether it's, rumored to Philadelphia and or otherwise, then they make a move. I honestly do think that the Raptors are in a good position to make some under the radar key moves on the offseason. They're going to have some room to play with. A lot of the guys that they have under contract, not named Van Vliet and Pascal Siakam, are 1-year flyers.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's why I said it's a gap year, because you sort of just figure out what you have and what you don't have. You sign Boucher to, I think it was a 2-year contract, I believe so, with the player option.
Yeah.
So they're going to have some money to play with, and there's going to be some free agents, Kawhi, available. There's something wrong with your audio. Somebody said Kawhi. But we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be an interesting offseason. Some other plan Bs probably are off the table. I heard that Gobert was somebody that they would have targeted as well. He ended up, opting in and getting his extension with the red hot Utah Jazz. So, listen, Masai and Bobby have their work cut out for them, but it's in a good way. I don't think they're working from a position of weakness.
Yeah, for sure. And they've proved it too. They proved to Raptor fans that they will make the right decisions necessary, even though it may include heartbreak. Obviously, the DeMar DeRozan trade at the time was heartbreaking to a lot of Raptor fans, but it led to something a lot more promising down the line.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. And I think at this point, the Raptors, at least they have the fans' trust, and then going forward, um that we believe that they can make the right move going forward.
Right.
But obviously, Norman Powell is one of the most interesting people on this list because now he's obviously outperforming his like what he is expected of this year,
Well said.
and he honestly is in line for like a near $20 million deal.
Oh,
I don't know
my
about you
goodness.
guys, which sounds insane, but with the way he's playing, it definitely is a possibility. But we'll get to that in the offseason. This goes for both of you. If you had a gun to your head, what do you think is going to happen this offseason? Kyle Lowry staying or leaving?
Parker, you go first.
Wow. So after this season, so during
After this season, off season, yeah.
Wow, that's tough. I think he goes. I think he plays out the year, and I think that's why I don't think he gets traded this offseason. This season right now. I think the Raptors go as far as they can with the team that they have. Maybe an addition here or there, but boy, oh boy, I tell you, they have some decisions to make. I think he goes, but I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you got one bullet in the chamber left and it's at your head, I'm going to hedge a bet that it's going to be that he would leave. I think, at the end of the day, he has nothing left to prove for Toronto. And at the end of the day, he's won a championship. He's been like I said, the rock for this team for a long time. So like I said, I don't think he has anything to prove to Toronto fans or Raptor fans. And if he does decide to leave, all the best to him, and I think he deserves another chance at a title, whether it's with the Raptors if they end up getting it back or not. But he deserves a shot at a title, and I think that's what he'll do. I think he may end up leaving in the offseason, and I think Philly is an attractive destination to Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, I have to agree with you guys there. I mean, it's already obviously all this MTV stuff that's going on saying that, oh, Kyle Lowry's selling his house, obviously worried a lot of Raptor fans as well, but at the end of the day, I like the way that Mark put it. He has nothing left to prove here. He has absolutely nothing left to prove here. I think he cemented his legacy. Whether people want to agree or not, I believe he's the greatest Raptor of all time. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think he still has a lot left in the tank, and I think he could provide a lot of that to a championship contender. Yeah. But let's move on to this. We talked a lot of Raptors. I never got to talk this much Raptors, so it's glad to have some Raptor fans over here
all day, baby.
Yeah, I could definitely do it all day. So, but yeah, moving on from that, Allstar Weekend is happening this weekend, and everything is happening in one night, which is very, very odd because there's usually a whole weekend of events. But obviously, with COVID going on, they tried to make it a whole day type of thing. But they're still having, the same old competition, skills challenge, 3-point contest. Even the dunk contest is happening at halftime of the All-Star game. And we're going to go through each of them, and we're going to kind of see like who we think is going to kind of win each event, including the All-Star game, because as of right now, I think Kevin Durant and LeBron James have both drafted their teams. So we're definitely going to look into that as well. But let's start with these competitions. We're going to start the skills challenge. We're still doing the bigs versus smalls. We have Vucevic, Sabonis, Julius Randle, Robert Covington, Luka Doncic, and CP3. How are you guys feeling about this event, and like who do you think is going to win?
Man, I don't even know if I should start this. Mark, please take it away.
Okay, go.
I'm going to take a 5 here. I'm going to take a timeout.
It's funny because we talked about this last night on our podcast. It's very weird at how you've got all those all-stars and then the one non-lone all-star is Robert Covington. I mean, at the end of the day, like Robert Covington hasn't been that good this season, but yet he's at the All-Star Weekend in the skills competition.
Yeah. Oh, before you go any further, I was very confused about that selection as well. But apparently, they are working with this organization to help improve like Black education in America. And I think one of their main partners is Robert Covington. So I think there's like a connection.
That makes sense. See, that's what makes sense. We just thought
Where were you yesterday?
Right?
Now
we just thought it was.
I can edit this.
No, not at all. We just thought it was an email blast that they sent out to the NBA players and everybody declined. And he just said, yeah, he was the first one to respond back, So that's what we thought. Or as Marco said, he drove the bus there, and that's why he was selected. But if we're talking about
Covington, our bad.
if we're talking about who's going to win, I'm gonna have to go with my guy in Phoenix, Chris Paul. I mean, the guy's one of the best ball handlers in the NBA. He's one of the best passers in the NBA. So I think he's won this competition before, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember 100%.
This is the skills.
Actually, he has it. He's entered the competition. He's entered the competition 4 times in the past. It's been a decade since he's been in it, but he's never won.
Well, you know what? This year is his year. What you said? How many times? You said 4 times.
4 times.
So hey, 5th time's a charm, right? So
5th time's a charm. Okay, Chris Paul, Marco, who do you think?
For the skills competition,
yeah.
Honestly, I'm going to go with my guy Luka. Yeah, nice. I'm going Euro style. I'm going Euro beats. I think my guy Luka. Listen, I think this is his weekend. I think this is his weekend, and we'll get into the other stuff in a bit, I'm sure. But
yeah,
I think last year in the bubble, we all remember the shots. Bang, bang.
Yeah.
I think Luka shows up. I hope his back is okay. I think it was his back or his hip, whatever it was that he had this past week. He'll be fine in that. And I'm taking my guy Luka here.
Yeah. Those are 2 very good choices. I'm always gonna stick with the big men here. I always vouch for the big men to win here.
Of course.
And I'm gonna go with Vucevic. I think it's gonna be someone completely from left park. I mean, the last 2 years we've had Karl Anthony Towns win in the past.
True.
We've had and stuff like that. So I'm gonna try to go Vucevic. I always want the big men to win, to show up the guards and just continue to show that the NBA is becoming more positionless basketball, and you have these freaking 6'10", 6'11" guys who are just gonna continue to handle the ball and just continue to do their thing. So let me take Vucevic. All right. So we talked about the skills challenge. Let's get right into the 3-point contest. And man, this field is pretty legit, man. Steph Curry, Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell, and Jaylen Brown. Let's start with Mark here. Who do you think he's got? How excited are you for this 3-point contest, and who do you think is going to win it?
I mean, the field's stacked. It's absolutely stacked. And we had this conversation. I think the 3-point competition has become the bread and butter of the All-Star Weekend, in my opinion. But if I'm going, I got to go with my Phoenix Suns again. I got to go with Devin Booker. I mean, the guy is lights out. He's a lights out shooter. I love Steph Curry. I want to go with him, but I think it'll be Curry versus Devin Booker in the final round. But I love Devin Booker. I just think his stroke is smooth from the 3-point line. So I got to go with Booker as the winner of the 3-point competition for sure.
Nice. Marco, who do you have in this one?
I guess it's me versus you, buddy, because I'm going Steph Curry. Listen, until proven otherwise, he is the best 3-point shooter in this league, period. End of story. So this should be fun. I don't think you can lose. Like, as a fan, you're losing one way or another, right? Because I think if it is Book versus Steph, buckle up, get your popcorn and all that good stuff.
Right?
It's gonna be
so good.
It could go into overtime. I don't know, is that possible? I guess it can go into overtime or extra shooting. Yeah, I can totally see that happening for whatever reason. And for the NBA, for the All-Star Weekend period, I think that would be the best case scenario.
Yeah.
You have Steph Curry versus Devin Booker. You have one of the best of all time versus the kid who is the up-and-comer and should be featured in a lot of primetime games to come in the next 4, 5, 6 years.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's going to come down for me for these two. I was debating when I was making my prediction here, but I got to go with Mark here. I think Devin Booker is going to take this one. I think for me, his shot.
You guys clearly discussed this without me. So.
I just think with Devin Booker, his type of shot form is perfect for the 3-point contest. He gets in so much of a rhythm. Steph Curry is so used to coming off screens and stuff like that. That's when he's kind of in his element. But Devin Booker, man, just get him into a rhythm like that. I mean, I'm not saying that Steph can't, but I just love his shot when it comes to the 3-point contest here. And who knows, Curry might win it because he hasn't had the best time in the 3-point contest. I think he's entered 3 times already, and he's only won one of them. Right. I know Clay beat him one time, and I think he lost another year. I forgot who won that one, but yeah, I mean he's probably out to try and take that crown. But
for
Devin
sure.
Booker, another former winner of this contest. I think I'll definitely go for him. But I like the way Marco said, you can't lose here. This is a stacked field. Like, it's going to be just a fun competition. And in my opinion, over the last few years, this has been the best the contest,
Yeah,
like consistently.
we agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's been the best contest for sure. Now let's go into the dunk contest because there's been mixed reactions on social media about the field. Um, whether you don't like the quality of names in this or not, it's going to be really interesting. But the three guys in this competition, it's three guys this year, not four. Cactus Stanley of the Indiana Pacers, Obi Toppin of the New York Knicks, and Anthony Simons of the Portland Trailblazers. We started with Marco last time. Let's go to Marco here. Who do you like in this competition?
I'm going with Toppin.
Toppin.
I'm going with Toppin. I'm going with. I cannot believe. First of all, I'm going with the New York Knicks, number one, right? But I think that this is, honestly, I think this is a coin toss. Like, if you can have three coins, right?
Yeah.
A three-headed coin, if there was such thing. I think it's honestly a coin toss. But I'm going with Toppin on this one. I can see him pulling something out, and I think it's going to be his come out party. Listen, anybody who's watched college basketball knows that this guy can go get it, right? But I think the national audience is going to find out that he can go get it now. So I think it's his time. I think it's a good showcase for him. And if again, I always say this, like, if you're the league, who do you want to win, right? Like, there's always that backdoor conspiracy, which is not, because it's a dunk contest, so you can't conspire in a dunk contest. Like, I would want a New York Knicks to win it. Just think about it. The New York Knicks are having the best season they've had in freaking. I need a calculator for that, right? Yeah. So what's the best way to do it as well, to put a sort of cap in the first half? Have your guy win the dunk contest, right? Put the Knicks, not that they're off the map, but they sort of are, back on the map. And this is something that they can do. Again, it lacks the star power, and we talked about this on our podcast yesterday as well. There's no brand names per se. These are sort of, what I like to call it, mid-card guys, if you want to use sort of a boxing or wrestling analogy. But yeah, give me to my guy,
Obi. All right, Mark, who do you got?
Yeah, I agree with Marco in terms of, I don't agree with who he picked, but I like Obi Toppin. He's a rim rocker. He definitely can get up there. But I'm going to go with Cactus Stanley on this one. I think Cactus Stanley has a lot of talent, especially when it comes to the dunking. So I'm definitely going to go with Cactus Stanley on this. And it's, I think, like we said, the 3-point contest has overlapped the dunk contest in terms of notoriety. Gone are the days of Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, Jason Richardson, the high level dunkers that out there. But I'm gonna go with Cactus Stanley on this one.
Yeah, I had to actually look at some of these like dunk highlights of some of these guys, because I knew that Obi Toppin was kind of a high flyer from his days, like in college. We've seen Anthony Simons, get up in like some social media. So I had to do kind of my homework on Cactus Stanley, and man, this guy has bunnies from his days at Duke as well. Like, this guy could definitely get up there, man. And the thing is, like, in the dunk contest, man, like it looks better like when you see like these shorter guys like go into the dunk. It just looks nicer. Obi Toppin's kind of a bigger dude. It's kind of like, it doesn't look kind of as impressive for some reason with these taller guys. I have to go with Cactus Stanley, just because I think he's the guy who's like brought in there just because of like dunking and stuff. He's been kind of in and out of the Pacers G League system at the moment, but he's coming in for the contest. I like his highlights. I've seen his high school dunk contest. I'll definitely go with Cactus Stanley here.
One wild card in this contest, by the way, and I don't know what the attendance is going to be, what there's going to be allowed, and I'm sure there's going to be some fans. Correct me if I'm wrong, boys, but there is also that lack of pressure of performing in front of a big crowd.
Agreed.
And with these three kids, and again, they're not brand names. And listen, there's a difference between performing in front of 5,000, 6,000 people versus a sold out arena of 25,000 at MSG or at the Scotiabank Arena or at Oracle back then, or whatever the case is. So let's see if this actually plays a little bit more in the sense of, because you've seen a lot of guys sort of get up there and miss and sort of lay an egg, whether it's a 3-point contest or otherwise. But so let's see if that's actually plays any relevant points in this particular case scenario.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And I mean, like it's better. I mean, and this is like the type of thing which is great for these guys. I mean, like you said, not household names. They could get their name known out there if they just do
Yeah,
something absolutely crazy. And I think this is a great opportunity for these young guys.
for sure.
I would, and I've seen a lot of people on Twitter, saying that they're already dismissing it and stuff like that. But just give them a chance. Just give them a chance, and hopefully they put on a show.
Yeah,
I still would bet that the 3-point contest would be better, though. I agree.
yeah, that's a safe bet for sure.
Yeah. Let's go into this All-Star game because we finally get to know the rosters. This may take me a while to get here, but Team LeBron, he has Giannis Antetokounmpo, Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Damian Lillard, Ben Simmons, Chris Paul, Jaylen Brown, Paul George, DeMontis Sabonis, and Rudy Gobert. And on Team KD, obviously he's not going to be playing because of injury, but he has Kyrie Irving, Joel Embiid, Kawhi Leonard, Bradley Beal, Jason Tatum, James Harden, Devin Booker, Zion Williamson, Zach LaVine, Julius Randle, Vucevic, and Donovan Mitchell. Boys, we just saw this draft just go down. We have the rosters here. Who do you think has a better roster? Who do you think is coming out on top here?
First of all, I have my roster from last night, so I just wanted to just make sure that I made that clear here. That I picked LeBron James to take. So did he take Steph Curry, Luka, and Jokic?
Yeah,
Correct.
Okay, it's over. That's it. It's done. What do I need to even rhyme in? Like, and he has CP4 as well on his team,
CP4.
Yes.
right? Okay, that's a union thing, right? That has to be. That's why he picked them,
Yeah.
right? And where's Simmons at?
Team
He's
LeBron.
on Team LeBron.
I have him on my team, LeBron too. So, listen, one way or another, whichever way you want to look at it, this team LeBron is pretty stacked. So I assume that Harden is with KD.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got the Brooklyn connection there, right?
Yeah. He wasn't going to let his Brooklyn guys go to LeBron. He definitely wasn't.
Right. I know KD is not playing, but I understand that. But you have LeBron is a good GM. He's got a good balance. He's got a nice mix, in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mark?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think his team is stacked in terms of especially all-star experience.
Star power, right?
Star power, all-star experience.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of it has to do with the way Kevin Durant picked his team. I mean, he picked Kyrie Irving first, which left open Steph Curry to be picked second by LeBron James.
Homer pick.
Right. So and then he went with Joel Embiid, and then LeBron went with Luka Doncic, which at the end of the day, you're talking about that. But you look at KD's team, and he's got what? We're looking at Jason Tatum making his first All-Star appearance. Devin Booker,
second All-Star. I think second All-Star.
Sorry, second All-Star appearance.
Yeah.
Devin Booker, right? He's in his second All-Star appearance after being a replacement. Zion Williamson, Zach LaVine's making his first time. Julius Randle making his first time, right? Vucevic, I don't even know. Second time. Right? So his team isn't in terms of all-star experience. Yeah, he's got the 2020 MVP Kawhi Leonard on his team, but LeBron's team is just stacked. Like that three-point contest is just stacked. You got a lot of really good players on that team. Damian Lillard, Chris Paul, right? Mm-hmm. Paul George, right? It's just stacked. So, I mean, I'm gonna go with Team LeBron on this one.
Wouldn't you have liked to see LeBron pick Zion? Or do you want Zion to face LeBron?
I want him to dunk on LeBron if anything. That would be hilarious. That would be absolutely fantastic. I think a theme with KD's team was like he went for a lot of like highlight like type players, like Zion, Zach LaVine as well. A lot of dunkers, a lot of like shooters. I think it's going to be at the end of the day, these are all stars. It's going to be a good game nonetheless, but I have to agree with Mark over here. Team LeBron, I think, has a bit of everything. They can hit you on all fronts. LeBron is just, Lud GM. He's living up to his nickname, Lud GM, at this point. So, I got to go with LeBron. Marco, I'm assuming you're going Team LeBron as well?
Yeah, I got Team LeBron on this one. And why didn't KD pick Steph Curry? I'm just curious about that.
Because he picked, like I said, he picked Kyrie first.
No. I know that. But, he could have picked Steph Curry.
Yeah, but he picked Kyrie because
let's see. I think, so LeBron's first pick was Giannis, which was very interesting. And then it was Kyrie for KD. Then it went, obviously, Steph.
KD's being an ass. He didn't want to pick Steph Curry. Like, come on, stop.
My question is, how are Joel Embiid and Donovan Mitchell going to get along? They're on the same team, and Joel Embiid just got him teed up yesterday.
Joel Embiid's a bitch. I'm just gonna. You might want to censor that. Like,
Oh my god!
like,
Yeah. Hey, they were joking about it on Twitter like after the game. It was like, ha, 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 I got you the second tech, and then like obviously Donovan Mitchell
I didn't like
was,
that.
yeah.
I didn't like that.
Oh
Listen, you
yeah,
can say whatever you want because there was a play Donovan Mitchell sort of flailed, and that's a bad choice of words I'm going to use here, but that's a pandemic in the NBA, right? Where guys are flopping
yeah,
and
Yeah.
they're in the Marcus Smart University of flopping. But that whole tactic that Joel Embiid did, and I know it's gamesmanship and all that good
yeah.
stuff. That's sort of bush league. Like let the
Bro.
guy get his own tech. Let the guy earn his tech. Right. So that's two bush league plays in the last 24 hours.
Okay.
One by the ref on Devin Booker, and the other one by
Oh
Joel Embiid on our guy there, Spider Mitchell. Anyway, sorry, I had to get that in there.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, and surprisingly, LeBron didn't take Devin Booker, who he claimed to be the NBA's most disrespected player. So
LeBron's a liar. He's a liar.
LeBron,
That's what it is.
LeBron, you gotta stick to your word, man. You gotta stick to your word. You should have got Devin Booker on your team. But yeah, that is All-Star Weekend. Let us know down below who you guys winning these competitions, especially with the NBA All-Star game. This is going to be, they're still doing the same format as last year, so it should be entertaining late in that game. Now let's go to the Midseason Awards, because we are now halfway through the NBA season. 36 games played for at least, I think, 10 of, or 12, like at least 12, 10 of these teams. And we're going to go through each of the awards like they do at the end of the year, and we're going to pick our winners for each award. It's going to be really fun. We're going to start it off with this one. We're going to start off small, and we're going to build up pretty big here. So first award I'm going to put on to you guys, the Sixth Man of the Year award. I don't know about you guys. I think this is one of the easiest awards to distinguish here. But who do you guys have winning Sixth Man of the Year?
This one's easy for me. It's Clarkson. I think it's over unless he gets hurt, and hopefully he doesn't. You never wish injury upon anybody. I think it's Clarkson. It's a wrap.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, earlier on, it might have been a little bit different in terms of, there was a couple names in there, but they've kind of tailed off, like Chris Boucher and stuff like that. But Jordan Clarkson's just been consistent all season so far, averaging 18 points per game, 45 from the field, 96% from the free throw line. Like, I mean, he's
that's dirty. Those are starter numbers.
Yeah, he's basically automatic from there, and he's his win share is the best of his career for 48, right? So I got to go with Jordan Clarkson there too.
Yeah, easiest award out of all of these for me. Got to go Jordan Clarkson, 18 points a game, 4 rebounds. And again, I mean, 37% from three. He's hitting threes, going to free throw line. This is a very easy award. Shout out to Chris Boucher, though, still doing his thing. I mean, obviously not as like hot as he was at the beginning of the season. And also Eric Gordon, but the thing is, he's not really helping out his team. They're on a 13-game losing streak as we speak, which is pretty insane. But yeah, those two guys are still far away from the winner, who is probably going to be Jordan Clarkson. Most improved player. Now, this one's going to be very interesting. You could definitely go different ways with this. But let's start here with Mark. Who do you have winning most improved?
So early on in the season, I definitely would have had it. Marco would attest to this. I definitely would have had Christian Wood, hands down. There would be no questioning that. But right now, Christian Wood's hurt. It's not, so I'm going to go with Jeremy Grant right now. He's only had 9 games of his 33 games that he's played where he's put under 20 points in a game. So it's not like he's not being consistent. He's doubled his point totals. He's got 5.3 is 3 rebounds per game, if I think, and he's also averaging 1 block per game as well. So, and the Pistons, they're horrible. They're not a good basketball team, but he's been the lone bright spot in Detroit this season. So I definitely got to go with Jeremy Grant right now.
I'm going to go a little bit maybe obvious, but for the opposite reason that you said, Jeremy Grant on a losing team, that's going to be the Sixth Man of the Year. I'm going to go with, and we're talking about most improved here, right? Julius Randle.
Julius Randle, interesting.
In the beginning of the year, I honestly thought that it was going to be Christopher Boucher. I'm calling him by his government name, Christopher Mon ami Boucher. Bonjour. Right, but I think Julius Randle has done everything that you can ask for. That he might get an MVP vote, to be honest with you, the way the Knicks are going. But that's a whole other conversation. But I'm going with Julius Randle. The Knicks are decent. I mean, the Knicks are good, actually. for Knicks standards, right?
Yeah.
And for Eastern Conference, actually, they're really good. And he's been a big part of that. And yes, he's had good years, but this is the most consistent he has been. And to me, that's what this award is about. And again, I'm not taking anything away from Jeremy Grant, but I personally put some weight in how your team also performs, right? Yeah. And the Knicks have outperformed what anybody could have predicted, in my opinion. So
agreed.
He's contributed. He's been a big part. So I'm going to go with good old JR, Julius Randle.
Yeah, two very good selections here. I was actually like thinking of that as well. I mean, Julius Randle was definitely up there for me in my choices. You have to also throw in Jaylen Brown, who has even taken his step like to the next level, even for him. He's been playing absolutely fantastic this year. But again, I'm going to be agreeing with Mark here. I'm going to go with Jeremy Grant. He bet on himself trying to get a bigger role in Detroit. And yes, they have been trash. Yes, they are one of the worst teams in the league, even though they beat the Raptors yesterday, which was a rough one. But I still think Jeremy Grant has been the lone bright spot. 23 points per game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 35% from 3, which has been also pretty good for him. And I think that he could definitely be, a number 3 guy, maybe on a really good team at like some point down the line. And he's starting to prove that this year. Also, shout out to Christian Wood. I would really have wanted him to win this award, but he's just missed too many games. And like I said, Jaylen Brown, man, he's taking that next step.
Marco, you mentioned Chris Boucher there earlier there. Tonight he's got 30 points tonight, eh? 30 points.
Like I said, Chris Boucher is winning this award. And that's the end of that.
Yes. I know, like, sadly, the Raptors are going to lose another one here tonight, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But still, Jeremy Grant, Julius Randle, those are 2 very good choices here. Coach of the Year. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's time to name this award to basically best coach with the best record at this point.
Ooh,
I don't know. I think we might disagree on that one.
I understand why you're saying that, and in fairness, if you really look at the history of this award, it has usually gone to the team with the best record or the team that's improved the most from the previous year.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right. And we've seen it here in Toronto. We've seen Dwayne Casey. We've seen Sam Mitchell win it, right? Where the team was trash and then really good the following year. So it's almost like the most improved award for coaches, but they win the Coach of the Year. And then also this has been obvious ones like Budenholzer, et cetera, for the teams that have excelled and just basically been the best from start to finish. In saying that, again, I cannot believe I'm about to say this, but this is the halfway point. So this is what I'm about to say. Tom Thibodeau, as it stands, should be the Coach of the Year based on what I just said about Julius Randle and the New York Knicks, that they have outperformed our expectations. Tom Thibodeau, by the way, is a really good coach. He's been a really good coach for a long time. He has a shelf life, usually 3-4 years, right? Like his act usually wears out, and this guy plays these guys hard, right? He is the opposite of Mike Budenholzer. Like Mike Budenholzer holds guys back. This guy just gives them, right?
And that's a little biased. It's a little biased, no?
Yeah, Chicago.
Maybe.
Why is it biased?
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm stating the facts. Like he's joking. No, but what I'm actually saying is it's actually a detriment to him because he runs his guys to the ground. Sometimes he overplays them, where Budenholzer underplays them.
Yeah.
And saying that, and a little biased. Tom Thibodeau should be the Coach of the Year. The Knicks have been great. They've been decent, and defensively, guys, the Knicks
they've been really good.
They're number 2 in the league. They're number 2 in the league.
That is messed up.
That's crazy.
Messed up. Just on that, he should just win the Coach of the Year right now.
Mark, who do you have winning Coach of the Year?
Don't get me wrong. The Knicks are doing well. They're definitely in consideration for me, and they're performing above average for sure, above their expectations. But I have to go with Monty Williams. I mean, the Phoenix Suns they're the second team in the second place team in the Western Conference. They've already got 23 wins on the season. Picking up Chris Paul, obviously, and Jay Crowder and filling out those rosters. They've expanded their expectations expanded, and a lot of people expected them to be a playoff team, right? And I think they're still performing above those expectations, unless you're Kendrick Perkins, who carry on. He said they'd be a top 5 team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, I got to go with Monty Williams. He was the coach of the year in the bubble, or the coach of the bubble, I should say.
Yeah.
Right. But right now, the Suns are one of the hottest teams in the NBA. They finished 13-2 in February, or 12-2 in February, whatever it was. So I got to go with Monty Williams right now.
Yeah.
Just for the record, by the way, and I just want to, again,
Yeah.
because we're talking about the now versus the then, and I don't know if you remember this, Mark, I actually had Monty Williams win Coach of the Year in our preseason predictions.
Yeah.
I actually had, I believe I had Norm Powell as a sixth man, but that changed because Norm Powell started a lot of games, so it sort of throws him off.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw that out there. That I agree with your pick. Monty Williams is probably going to correct my pick.
Yeah. Both of your guys were honestly in my consideration. But if we look at the first half of the season, I might go with to say, like I said earlier, best team, best coach. I got to go with Quinn Schneider here with the Utah Jazz. Even though they've been they were projected to make the playoffs and stuff, no one thought they were going to be this good. People thought they were going to be sixth, seventh, maybe fifth seed in the West.
Yeah.
They've outperformed all expectations. Probably the best 3-point shooting team in the league, playing great on both ends of the floor. Quinn Schneider is one of the most underrated coaches in the league as well. I don't think he gets enough respect for what he has done with this team over the last 4 or 5 years. And I think as of right now, he is the front runner for me. I like the pick of Monty Williams and Tom Thibodeau. Those are honestly my only other two guys I had into consideration, as well as Quinn Schneider. But the way that he's has this team playing, I know it's kind of they've lost the last 2 games, but at the same time, the best team in the league. I think Quinn Schneider is my coach of the year.
Good pick.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that could be chosen here. I mean, we haven't even mentioned Doc Rivers, who has taken the 76ers to some people didn't even have them in the championship conversation to now they might even be somewhere in that finals conversation.
I still don't, by the way.
I still don't either.
Fair enough. Rookie of the year. Again, I think kind of the sixth man of the year. It's becoming a lot more obvious who he's going to be. But let's go with Marco here. Who do you think is winning Rookie of the Year?
Well, this one actually hasn't changed from the beginning. This is the guy who I picked in the beginning is LaMelo Ball. Yeah. He has been the most consistent rookie, in my opinion. And the Charlotte Hornets are playoff contention. And he's delivered, right? I mean, Edwards has been good. Wiseman has been good, but I think on a night in and night out basis, especially now that he's become a starter, before he started off the bench, and now he's a starter. I think he's over 20 points a game, 20, 21, whatever it is.
As a starter, yeah.
As a starter, right? You got to give the kid his credit, his kudos, man. He's been good. He's been that consistent kid, that has sort of pushed those Charlotte Hornets. I mean, they're still an average team at best. They're still missing a couple of pieces, but these are not your old, we're going to step over the Charlotte Hornets, right? This is a sort of get me over kind of win so we can get to the next city. No, this is a team that plays hard, man. Coached well, plays hard.
Yeah.
Ball is my rookie.
Yeah. Mark, who do you have winning Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I got to go with LaMelo Ball winning it. I mean, what he's done since starting and getting into more games, he's been consistent all season long. That's not a knock to Tyrese Halliburton, who's having another good season as
Fantastic.
well. Anthony Edwards is having a good season, but there's another guy that I think is making a consideration and making a run at it. It's another New York Knicks guy, Emmanuel Quickly.
I think my fantasy, by the way, just saying.
Right. But yeah, no, I think he's making a run at it too. But it's definitely LaMelo Ball. I think he's running away with it right now. He could do it all offensively, passing, getting rebounds, scoring the basket. He's quick, and coming into the season, I wasn't high on him because we knew, as Stephen A. Smith basically said the other day, LaMelo Ball is what we thought we were getting with Lonzo Ball.
Woo.
That's what he basically said. And I agree with him 100%. Everybody said that Lonzo Ball was going to be this great basketball player.
I hadn't heard that quote.
But LaMelo Ball is the best player that's come out of that family, in my opinion. Absolutely. Hands down, there's no questioning that.
Yeah.
I guess he's the best of the balls. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
You
best
can
of
do
the balls.
You want with that joke.
Yeah. I have to agree with you guys here. LaMelo Ball was running away with it. it's also like it's also helped him that Tyrese Halliburton has been kind of in and out of the lineup due to injury,
True.
and
Yeah.
and he's also like coming off the bench, which is kind of like
Yes.
hindering him as
That's
well.
that's a very good point.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, James Wiseman looked like he had a good chance at it early in the season, but then he got hurt and got moved to the bench. And LaMelo Ball is just growing into his role, has made the Hornets watchable. And I think that's the biggest thing with LaMelo
Agreed.
Ball. I mean, the Hornets have not been watchable these last few years. And now like people like a lot of, even myself, I find myself watching a lot of Hornets games and I'm enjoying them having, Gordon Hayward playing the way he's playing, LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, they're fun to watch, especially at night, like after midnight. I've been hearing this, the after midnight Hornets or something like that, because they've been winning games coming back on the West Coast after midnight. So it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, you got LaMelo Ball, Scary Terry Rozier there. You got Gordon
That's
Hayward.
our guy, man. I don't know why the Celtics let that guy go. I really don't. I know that's not the topic that we're talking about, but Scary,
yeah,
my goodness, he can ball.
Yeah, he's been absolutely fantastic this year as well. Yeah, but LaMelo Ball is running away with this. Shout out to Tyrese Halliburton and Manuel quickly. They're both playing good this season, but it's LaMelo's to lose at this point. Now this is what's going to be kind of interesting. Defensive Player of the Year. It's very subjective. It's really depending on the person and like what they consider to be like important in terms of this award.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see what you guys have to say. Let's go with Mark over here. Mark, who do you have winning Defensive Player of the Year?
Oh,
me?
I have me.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Rudy Gobert.
But
he's averaging 13 rebounds per game, almost 3 blocks per game. Miles Turner is a close second for me. If Anthony Davis was still playing and not hurt right now, I think he'd be second for me right now. But the only thing that I have against Rudy Gobert is that, his numbers are great, aesthetically pleasing in terms of like the eye test. But you look at some of the guys he's gone up against and what they've put up against him. Embiid's put up 40 points, 19 rebounds against him last night. Vucevic had 34. Adebayo had 19 and 11. Brook Lopez had 23 points against him. Jokic has had 47 and 35 against him. So it's not like he's stopping them from scoring, right? But I think he's just aesthetically pleasing in terms of the numbers and the stats. Stats don't lie in general as speaking. So I got to go with Rudy Gobert right now as my Defensive Player of the Year right now.
Nice. Marco, who you got?
I've been going back and forth on this, to be honest with you, even before this podcast, because my pick was, I think my preseason pick was Rudy Gobert. And 2 weeks ago, my pick was Rudy Gobert. And as of a couple of days ago, I've been, looking at this, and I think it's Miles Turner. I think it's Miles Turner, but by a slight margin. And the reason I'm going with Miles Turner is something that you just brought up right now, Mark. Other guys are putting up, big numbers against Gobert. Now, he's going up against elite guys, and I completely get that. But so is Miles Turner based on his position. And the one number that stood out to me is that Miles Turner is holding his opponents in the same position about 6 to 7% below the actual average shooting percentage. Yeah. So to me, that's actually key, because if you're scoring, if you're a 25, point a game guy, you're scoring against Miles Turner, you're about 7% less. To me, that could be the difference in the game right there. Yeah. Right? That's 25 points or 22 or 21, whatever the case is. So to me, it's Miles Turner. And he's always been very good defensively, but he's now taking the next step. And I wouldn't be surprised even if he doesn't win this year, that he has a couple of Defensive Player of the Year awards in his back pocket for a few years to come.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you guys there. For me, this is a 3-man race: Miles Turner, Ben Simmons, Rudy Gobert. I ended up going with Gobert, and that's mostly because of the slide that the Pacers have been taking these last 2 weeks. I know Turner has been in and out the lineup, but they've kind of slipped into standings a little bit. Rudy Gobert is still leading this Utah Jazz team a top three defense in the NBA. Sure. And I think for respect purposes, people like game plan for Gobert whenever he's in the paint as well. I think he's like one of those guys that teams have to look at, especially on the defensive end. Like they have to like really pay attention to. So I got to go Rudy Gobert. If Miles Turner had honestly like 4 or 5 more wins and like a few less losses, he would definitely be like a lot closer. But yeah, I got to go with Rudy Gobert here. But you guys make good points. You guys make definitely good points here. Now we're gonna go with the big dog. We're gonna go with the big time award here. There's some candidates here. There's a lot of people to choose from, but who you guys got winning MVP? Let's start with Marco.
This one's ugly. Because you can make an argument for every single guy that
Yeah.
you can put out there.
Exactly.
You can argue for Luka. You can argue for Steph, who's having a really, really solid season. You can argue with LeBron, but maybe you can argue against it over the last couple of weeks, minus Anthony Davis, right? Because that's the opposite of MVP, right? You're supposed to elevate your players, but my soul is going to hurt. It's Joel Embiid right now.
Yeah.
It was between him and Jokic. I'm not going to lie to you. But I think that Embiid is playing elite basketball. Don't get me wrong. I don't think Joel Embiid is the best basketball player in the NBA, which is sort of counterproductive to what I'm trying to say and contradicting. But right now, I mean, you can go ahead and make the argument against Joel Embiid, but right now he is putting up MVP caliber numbers and performances, regardless of what you think of the guy. It is what it is. Joel Embiid is your MVP right now. Let's have this conversation later.
Yeah. Mark, who do you got?
Yeah, I got to go with Joel Embiid too. I mean, maybe a couple weeks ago I would have picked LeBron James, but they've been on a little bit of a slide. But right now I'm going Joel Embiid. I mean, he's having the best season of his career. Best field goal percentage. He's shooting almost 44% from the field, or 41% from 3-point line, which is his best in his career. Yeah. Right. He's also getting one steal, one block a game. He's had, I think, if I remember correctly, 3 40-point games in the last 7. Right.
He's just showing the stats, man.
Right. He's just been consistent all season long. Yes. It's been a consistent sign that we haven't seen with Joel Embiid throughout his career is the consistency. Correct. This season it's on another level. It's just he's taking it for me, and that's who I got to go with. I got to go with Joel Embiid.
Yeah. And Marco made it right there. I mean, dude, you can make an argument for like 6-7 guys here, which is insane because this isn't really the case in terms of MVP. But it came down for me, Jokic and Embiid, man, especially this last 2 weeks.
Give it to me, big guy. What is it?
Oh man, it's tough. It's tough, and I gotta go Embiid. I'm sorry, I gotta go Embiid. Jokic, man. I mean, he's been doing good. He's been doing absolutely fantastic. His team is Jamal Murray has been up and down this season. It's been doing him kind of a disservice. But man, Joel Embiid has been an absolute rock for this team. And it's finally something we've been waiting on for him. We've been waiting for him to be this like dominant self right? The process. We've been waiting for this. And whether it's Doc Rivers, whether it's just himself, like finally understanding what he needs to do. He's taking less threes. He's becoming more efficient at it. And he's just doing everything for this team. And it's been absolutely a joy to watch. Almost 30 points a game, which is insane, especially for a center. I mean, if you watched yesterday's game to tie the game against the Utah Jazz, he did a step back 3 on Bojan Bogdanovic, which was insane. And he has taken that jump. He's been absolutely insane. I had to go with Joel Embiid as well. For the people watching at home, let us know down below who you guys got for these awards, man. I mean, especially for the MVP award, I could see a lot of people going a lot of different ways here, but especially at the midseason way, it's definitely something to look at. But yeah, I think this is where we're going to end today's episode. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to leave the floor to you guys. If you have anything else going on in your podcast later down the line, I'll give you the floor right now. What do you guys got going on in the future?
Let me lead off, and then I'll let Mark close off. First of all, thank you for having us. This is great time. It was fun to talk ball. And so hopefully we can do it again. If you guys enjoyed it, like follow my guy here and follow us as well. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all talking ball, so we have a lot of fun. So this second half of the season, I think we're really looking forward to talking more about it. I think it's going to be if last year was wild in the bubble, I think this year's finish is going to be crazy. I think something that we haven't seen before is going to happen. And I think that based on how close everybody is, there's going to be some crazy movements, some buyouts, some trades. There's somebody that's going to do something so weird that you're going to go, whoa.
Yeah.
Right. There's going to be an obvious thing, and there's going to be something that's just going to knock your socks off. So let's keep on talking about it. Support basketball. It's a great sport. And again, thank you for having us, man.
Yeah. Mark?
Yeah, just quickly, we're going to have an NCAA March Madness preview coming up. after Selection Sunday. There's going to be a lot of stuff going down the stretch here. It's going to be impactful. March Madness is around the corner, so there's going to be a lot to talk about on our Instagram. You're going to see that, Twitter, TikTok, all that stuff. So just give us a follow. We'll have you on as well on our podcast. Maybe we're going to reach out and get some other interviews on our podcast as well. But so we're looking forward to the next half of the season.
Yeah,
Stephen A. Smith, call me, man. We got some shit to talk about.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have these guys back on in the future. I'm gonna have all their links in my link tree in the description of this video, so you can go check them out. I'll also tag them in the post on Instagram, so you can definitely check out their Instagram. Again, thank you guys for coming on. This is where we're gonna end today's episode. Remember to follow at TVonBasketball on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Support the pod on YouTube and on any of the podcast networks. And continue to show your support. We really do appreciate you guys, and we're gonna go into this for the second half of the season. Excited. But this is where we're gonna end things. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you all have a blessed day. Take it easy, guys. Peace.
Take care, man.